What's up guys, it's Marcan. In today's Paragon guide we will cover the newest hero, Iggy and Scorch. Now according to Epic, Iggy and Scorch are an inseparable pair that just want to set the world on fire. They are casters that focus mainly on wave clear and lane control. They can easily push a lane of minions with almost no effort at all. Iggy and Scorch's passive is called Ignite. When an enemy is hit with oil and then comes into contact with fire, one stack of burn is applied. Now when a stack of burn is applied, the enemy takes damage over time. This passive is fantastic for wave clear and overall fighting. Even if your enemy is out of range of your abilities, they will continue to take burn damage for a few seconds. Iggy and Scorch's right click ability is called Oil Slick. They gain a brief boost speed and leave a trail of oil on the ground behind them. Now this will apply oil to any enemy that walks on it. This oil can then be ignited by fire to apply burn for even more damage. This is a great ability for chasing down fleeing enemies or escaping bad situations that you find yourself stuck in. If you find yourself in the middle of the enemy team during a fight, use Oil Slick to rush backwards toward your team, then turn around and burn the enemies that chased you. Iggy and Scorch's Q ability is called Flame Turret. Iggy throws out a turret that shoots fire. As you level this ability up, you are allowed to place more turrets simultaneously, up to a maximum of 3. The turrets have limited health and fuel, so once they are out of fuel, the turrets will self-destruct. Also, the enemy team can destroy your turrets by attacking them. The turrets take 3 hits to destroy. While your turrets are on the ground, they'll auto-attack any enemy in range, prioritizing enemy heroes. This ability is amazing for wave clear. Just toss down 2 turrets and watch the enemy minions disappear. In teamfights, you want to try and position your turrets to hit as many enemies as possible, prioritizing the backline damage dealers. Their E ability is called Oil Spill. Scorch throws up an oil blob and shoots it at the target. When Oil Spill lands, it creates an area that applies oil to enemies. If this oil is then ignited by one of your turrets, huge damage will be dealt to anything with oil in a really big burst. This will also ignite your enemies, damaging them over time. Oil Spill can cause a huge burst of damage late game. This is fantastic for clearing waves and for team fights. Now for team fights, you want to make sure the enemy carries are within range and immediately burst them with Oil Spill and Flame Turrets. This will take them right out of the fight. Iggy and Scorch's R ability, or ultimate, is called Flamelch. Iggy feeds Scorch one of his Molotovs, and Scorch shoots fire from his mouth in a cone in front of him. At the end of the duration, Scorch belches, exploding enemies away from him. Flamebelch can actually be reactivated early to trigger the knockback sooner. This ability does a ton of damage throughout the entire game. You can combine Flamebelch with Oil Spill for a huge burst of damage. In teamfights, try to use Flamebelch on the enemy carries if you're able to. The second activation of this ability is a great escape tool as well. If you're getting attacked, just activate Flamebelch twice and push your enemies back to give yourself a chance to use Oil Slick to escape. Now for cards, you generally want to focus on energy damage and mana. You can also build Iggy and Scorch a bit tanky, so they survive teamfights a little easier while still outputting damage. Iggy and Scorch is a hero that are very easy to use but difficult to master. The more you play as Iggy and Scorch, the more you will learn and adapt to their skills. They are great to push lanes with and can easily control an entire lane with their flame turrets. I hope you enjoyed this guide on Iggy and Scorch. Let me know in the comments below the next hero you would like to see a guide for. Thank you for watching guys, and as always, stay active.
Hitmakers.